All right, welcome back to Soul Spark Tarot. And I'm your host, Mr. Renew. And yeah, we back. So let's get ourselves a little general message and I'll gap in between, but let's get some cleanse in your life. So one of the main reasons why I've been out or gone away is twofold. Been trying to re-strategize and then my microphone was tripping, and I still think it's tripping. So I gotta like get a new microphone, find a new way, and I definitely need a new microphone because I found a new way, and I'm happy. I'm happy. It's been a lot of hard work, neglect, and I've learned a lot about myself. You know, every time I'm always away, I'm always coming back with some new knowledge, but it's because I'm living life, and I don't like how I be living life sometimes, and I feel like that's okay, but it's just like, but then I'll be content, and so change is always happening, so I become satisfied with the type of changes that I create, but then it's still a limitation of me because of a part I don't want to see anymore. I don't want to look there because there's shame there, and there's guilt, and there's the understanding of I could have always been doing this. I could have been doing this. I'm still living life, and no matter what I do, life goes on outside of that tune, you know? I can change the track. Track still exists, though. It's just not in my lane. And I've been learning a lot about those things. I've been seeing it happen in myself just because sometimes I'll be afraid to do things and other times I'm not. And I realize when I be doing things that I don't want to do, and then when I be doing them when I do. And it's just a lot of understanding, but I've learned already that a lot of the things that we already know, they're just memories. Is us recalling information. And so new strategy that I'm moving forward with is I'm a one-man show. I'm a one-man band right now, and I can't keep like having certain parts of me wanting to connect with people. I'd rather just do it, and I feel like a lot of people already see me as just doing it, but it's the feeling behind it, as we always say. And if I just focused on feeling differently, then I can move forward with a lot of things. So again, pardon the microphone if it's choppy or if it's good. I don't know how it's going to turn out. We'll find out. But that's the same approach that I'm taking with these let's refocus on myself. And it's funny because I already built a whole system for this. It's like I thank God for a while I was on my spiritual journey. I had the wisdom and the impromptus and the intuition to not just document like most people would say. I started off that way, but like I was guided to build alongside of the journey. And it was crazy because I started doing it the same way in schools for myself. And then I started doing it when I was teaching it and when I was tutoring. And then when I was just living life and working out, and I just started applying it everywhere. And I got a chance to see how when you have two opposing forces happen, if you just recurse them, they got to do another lap, and that's how you get one whole thing. So it's like always breaking things down into halves. If I got to take one step, I really got to take two smaller steps. And it just keeping that notion in my mind helps me create the changes. But that was me learning something and then me trying to apply something. That's me showing the kids how to do the math, and then that's us like on a platform manipulating the math or trying to program the math or color coding the math. It was us always building something with it. Instead of showing them how to spell the word, we're going to show you how to use the word in a different context. And now I'm introducing depth. And so all of these things are applied to you if you apply it the same way, which is twofold. The reason why that's the case is because you can always do two things at one time. So it's cool to think about the two things that you're doing in this one place. And that's the idea of where I'm going with me and Mr. Renew and all the things that he do. So Soul Spark Tarot, you're going to be having your own channel, and then I won't be rapping and things like that. Not really. You're gonna have to go to the other channel for that. But I think that's just math class is math class, even though we'll use other subjects. When it's English, it's English. When it's time for PE, it's time for PE. So just bringing in all the things that I would normally do is just, I'm realizing that life is the classroom. So as I live life, I'm going to be doing these things, and hopefully we can change together. All right, so let's get a general message today, and then I'm going to cut it. We're going to break it down into career, and then we're going to finish up with a love reading. So that's the sequence. We're going to be doing the same thing moving forward in the future with live. So it's just going to be live. It'll be easier for me and be more consistent for you. All right, so let's get a general message, overall energy, please. For the day, for the week, Hierophant. So I love this card because this is the Two of Swords for me. This is the Two of Wands for me. This is all the Two of Pentacles, Two of Cups. It is the Gemini card. It's the Hierophant itself is the Sagittarian aspect to the Gemini card. The opposite. The Gemini would be the twins, right? But then the Hierophant would be the idea of a fraternal twin or identical twin. It doesn't matter of the people, it's matter of the typing. And that's why I like to talk how I talk. And I'm realizing that there's certain things that I've been working on for so long, and I still kind of feel like they're a part of me, and they're not because they've grown, but they are because I grew from them. So it's like I haven't grown far enough. Yeah, I'm never doing that again, but then I tried it again, and it didn't happen the same way the first time, but then it was close enough to where I was like, shit, I don't really want to do that again. And then I happened to have the same situation again, and then it got better again. So it's like, it's the progression and the slow grind and the changes there, but there hasn't been an energetic shift. Why? Because you still feel the same way about the progression, which is, I really don't want to do that shit again. And so because of that, whatever notion you can bring that to, you got to understand that it's still you. And so as we're progressing, we got to realize the differences between the parts of us that is giving that advice and being the coach, being that parent, being that leader, versus the maybe this is a grown adult child version of you, versus over here this might be a younger version of a grown adult child of you. 37, 27, but guess what? You're 54 and you're talking to your parents who were 79. Like, you taking the idea of the olden wisdom, that aspect, that's the Hierophant. That's that old wise counsel. But that's that higher self version of you. So, what do we need to do with this information? What do we need to do knowing that this is our overall energy? Being that wisdom, but realizing who we are. So, this card, the World card, came out sideways. So, whenever these cards come out sideways, that means you got to take them as a verb, a dynamic. So, take this thing as a movement, and guess what? The world is already a circular shape, implying movement. And I love this example. So, The reason why the progression is happening and you haven't found value is because you haven't learned how to value the lapse. And I like to use this example in real life because it's easy. At one point in time, if you ever went to school, you had to have taken laps around a track. And so if you've done enough of those, you would have learned that 4 laps around a standard track equals a mile. And so for people who are not using the US metric system, you would have to, I think it's like 4.5 to 5 laps for a kilometer, something like that. And then it would be like 15 or something, I want to say, for like a 5K. Anyways, there's measurements that are always equal and they exist outside of us. These are these fixed points that we reference inside of the astrology system. Your Leo, your Aquarius, your Scorpio, and your Taurus. Those are the fixed middle aspects, the core aspects of these energies called earth, air, fire, and water. So these things are constantly in tug, but it's not in tug because it sits above and it sits below and it sits transversal. So it is the structures that everything is being built upon. And so if you're looking at the Leo fire energy, you're looking at the full expression of something, aka the sun. If you're looking at the Taurus energy, you're looking at the full expression of something, the earth and the mountains. If you're looking at Aquarian, you're looking at the full expression, which is the atmosphere. It's not air, it's the atmosphere. It's in total. It's all of it. And when you look at all the air or the atmospheres within our so-called air, you see it's just layers. So again, knowledge and wisdom or mentalities, it comes in layers. And then you get into the depths, which is the water, which is what makes this planet so special because of how much it relates to one another of all of these things that don't change. And so in the case of water, water doesn't change unless it is changed by its environment, aka a bunch of water on top of mountains. We call it an ocean. But then if you got water moving through a mountain or earth, call it a river. If you got rivers and, a basin or a bowl, you get lakes and basins and springs and things. So the cool thing about the water is it has an integrated cycle with the earth and it has an integrated cycle with the air. But all of that is operating because it's on earth, and all of that is moving around because of the sun. So like when you're seeing all of these layers, I'm trying to get you to understand how things are always going to be fixed in life. And you're going to take laps around that track and it's going to be fixed and it's going to look the same over and over and over. But you got to realize that I'm on lap number 8. That means I'm 2 miles in. Yes, I got 3 miles left. Like, you can start to make different value systems. You can make different wisdoms pop up in your life. Dang. You can use different wisdom systems from your life that you lived from different time frames because guess what? There's always going to be more. You're always going to have an opportunity to grow more. But the cool thing is, the fact that this came out this way, it shows us that we have more that is rotating across the cycle. You have something that is moving across cycles of different areas of change in life. And so I'm going to be using our disc calculator. That's going to be helping us out when we understand the differences between who we are and who we are not. This is going to help us gain a mirror. And in this mirror, it allows us to see who we are reflecting as we're projecting. Okay, so I'm going to get a clarifier for this guy. Actually, I'm going to give 4. So, earth, air, fire, and water DISC for our disc. Yeah, let's go ahead and see what do we need to know for each area of our life. What actions do we need to take? Let me I'm trying to sign into this. Oh, there we go. So what actions do we need to take? Fire energy, dominant or the D energy. All right. So our dominant energy needs to be cultivated. Our dominant or our fire or action energy needs to be patient. It needs to be, I can't say slowed, but you need to take a step back. I'm getting the energy of a watched pot never boils. So that's what's that D energy right now is. It's like you got to practice more patience. So you got to look at how you use patience from the past and then coach yourself up. Be the wise counsel of yourself for what you've done before. Okay. I energy, influence. What do you guys think that is? Influence. It's the water energy. Okay. So, emotionally speaking, or the water energy or the influential energy is more pentacle energy. And so in this case, this is looking at what you value. So it's like you're trying to be patient on a lot of things, but your this energy that you're trying the patient energy is trying to be revalued or trying to find value in being patient, something like that. Oh, this makes sense. Oh, there you go. This makes sense. So we got the Seven of Cups at the bottom, which means the reason why you're being patient on your emotions is because, or on the things that you value externally, is because emotionally you're cloudy. And these clouds, again, this cup is all about the mind. They forget that water signs is H2O still, but air is a mixture of gases, including water. So because we know that, or now we remember that, we got to keep in mind that these varying cups are all based upon the mind. But I already explained the mind is layered. So you got to see which version of the mind is tripping. You got to see which version of the mind is tripping. So once you can find the clarity, you'll be able to find the value. And once you find the value, you'll be able to look at something more long term. And that will give you the patience. So right now, something is short term, and that makes sense because this is our fire energy, right? But right now, the underlying wisdom that you're looking at is dealing with something, or I said financial, but I was going to say physical, but something financial. That can be physical too. Maybe you're like me, not knowing how to move with the new versions of you. We'll see. So now let's get to the S. S is your steadfastness. This is our earth energy. Okay. That came out right away. And we have Wheel of Fortune. So this is like a higher version of all the earthly aspects. But again, it's a world card again. You got the four nodal points. You got the earth, air, fire, and water. Okay, these are your fixed sign cards. So your Taurus energy or your earthly energy, it's been fixated on something. And so I think what it is it's been fixated on what makes you steady in the world. I see the fact that you have been going through fortunes and misfortunes, but the wheel of fortune being here is coming through stability. But the stability is in your stable spot. So it's like now you're trying to see if you know you're stable on certain things and you've been protected and you've been all of these aspects. How do you value those things to where you can value the time it takes and you can be more patient as you continue to take action? Again, this is like multitasking over a long period of time because you know it will be worth it, but you're trying to find what its worth is, but that worth is coming from how you feel, but you don't know how to feel about it because damn, I'm doing a lot. So you got to realize that, but you've been doing a lot. So this is like you been on lap 25 out of like out of 50, and you're like, damn, do I really want to do this? Do I really want to keep going? Like, what is the point? So you got to keep going. I mean, that's what this is really saying, and that's what the whole idea of this is. Why I'm motivating myself, self-inspiration. I'm inspiring myself based upon different versions of me when I had to overcome a similar situation. And because I'm me right now asking the people for advice, I'm like, hey, what do I need? And then I can direct that energy. I can direct that energy with these two fingers. And I can be the force that can allow myself to be the conduit. So again, it's a creative force of what I identify as before I act as an identification in the world for others. I call it an avatar. But again, there's four of them. So there's really five. The one that houses them all. Oh, so I guess it's 1, 2? But what is 1, 2? I guess it's 12? Semantics, but that's the idea of having the stability. There's a lot of ways where you can understand things. So if you are a person, or if you're talking with people and they just completely refuse to think other ways or be flexible in thinking, you got to understand that that is them just stuck on a single pentacle. It may work for them in their life, but this might be the first time they're outside of their world. So they might be fire energy most of the time, but because they're doing something new, they're acting like a I, which is they're based upon their feelings, moods, and emotions. Everyone has feelings, moods, and emotions, but this person creates their world from them. Versus this fire energy uses those things to move through the world as their creation. Steady energy looks back at what was created over actions over time. Over actions over time, that means different kinds of actions over periods of time. So it becomes a mixed matrix over a period of time. It's cycles over time. Again, that's the world. Generations, eras, decades, time frames, changes over time as other things are changing in between time. Style and clothing versus inflation. You got to see it as still all happening as this other shit is happening. I'm in school. I'm out of school. People are still playing football. Like, the show goes on. I kind of idea. That is what we're focused on. And so, damn it. I can't I see. That's funny right there. I'm gonna use that as an example. I got mad right now because I forgot that I had a bill that was gonna be due today, and guess what? The money just came out, and I was just like, "Damn, why?" Because I forgot, and I like having money. So when the money goes, it's like, well, it's for a good cause, but it was just like, you just gonna leave me? But I already said they can go to the park, so I don't know why I'm tripping if I was a parent. So, anyways, giving that little story is how you reconcile, and this is us moving into the sea energy. Knowing that the layers of what happened before can just be packaged together and just thrown away to the side as an experience, you got to realize that all experiences are four parts, but they're made up of three. And so these three dimensions are always happening. But the fourth is the package. Yeah, this is my wrapping paper for a birthday. This is my wrapping paper for a graduation. This is my wrapping paper for Christmas. This is my wrapping paper because I just want to give you a gift. Like, those are still wraps upon these three dimensions, but guess what? It still has some variation in there too. This is the conscious energy. This is your intellectual, your mindset energy. This is the air energy. So let's see what kind of energy are we needing wisdom upon. That came out. All right. So So all right. I'm feeling it for me personally, but so we're thinking about what to do too much. And as we're thinking about what to do, we're taking actions on things, but we're looking at others waiting for them to do. Just like over here. That's so funny that these two come together. That's why I'm tripping. It's like, so you can either be. So think of this as two minds, two faces. The back of your mind, you in the back of your mind, you have you're looking at like what you're building and just wanting it to grow and you're just obsessed with it, but this is your front mind. This is what you're taking action. So instead of you just thinking about how wonderful all the actions are and what you can nurture and the fact that you got many things to nurture, you're looking at it as like why isn't this stuff growing? But over here, your mind is like telling you you need to like leave this behind and let that rod grow. And people don't really be like understanding the cards enough because they want to exclude the reality. The spiritual is being shown to us through the reality. So you got to know the reality so you can understand the spirit better. And you got to realize that some parts that seem over the top spiritual are actually clearly understood because of how spirit does. And spirit does a few things all the time, which is express. So the multitudinal expression of the one God versus being the monotheistic version of that same God is still more than all. And that is the God aspect, it's more. It's the plus. But that plus has boundaries. And these boundaries are these different energies, earth, air, fire, and water. But these energies, as they come out, are boundless, which is why two parents can have boundless combinations of kids. Even if they're packaged together, they can still be made up differently. Twins, fraternal, twins, identical. And it's not set in stone. There's fraternal twins that look so identical you would think they was identical. But then there's identical twins that look nothing alike. There's identical twins where they're different genders. It is clear that the expression of life happens in so many different ways, but you can't be mad when your goddamn cat goes and scolds its kittens just the same way you would scold your children. You can't just ignore that because, again, that is life expression. But us as humans, we call that behavior. And so, because we're understanding behavior, we got to understand that there's descriptions of different behavioral types. That means animal behavior, mammal behavior, reptilian behavior. We can't just say these words, they're the archons and these are the reptiles over here. You got to kind of find more of an understanding, which is why like certain cartoons are good and because they are animating things like with Dragon Ball Z. Like there's humans and like dog humans and cats and aliens and all kind of creatures just living together in life, no problem. That's probably how it's going to go for like the universe. Why? Because it's a spiritual expression. But are you going to have like groups of people who aren't good? Like the Saiyans who look humanoid, but no, they're alien monkeys who blow up planets for fun and shit. Like, so like you got to understand the differences. And so here is the difference is what you can love, but what was given to you for your love. It's more. So take the two steps. And so when you're looking at here, it's not about taking the one step, it's about taking the two steps. The first step was to turn around. Here, when you're focused on this rod, that is this action here. I'm just waiting for my shit to grow. I'm just watching this pot boil. I'm so hungry that I gotta sit here and intimidate the water to boil quicker. So I can put these eggs in here and make my hard-boiled eggs. No! Put some motherfucking salt in that shit, put the eggs in there and go wash your hands or do something else, bro. Like, do something. Maybe instead of just eating some eggs, you go chop up some vegetables and now you make like an egg salad or some shit. I don't know, but what I do know is you can use your mind and take different actions. So for me, because I haven't been working at the same capacity as I have, but I have been working at the same capacity, just actually even more so. It's like I don't know how to fully maximize the time that I had. Why? Because of the grief of and the mistrust that I went through getting to this point. But it was more so me not knowing how to trust myself when I was supposed to exit sooner. And so you just get more things to love, but then you also get more things to not love, which is to dump out. And because of that, you're focusing on manicuring your garden so much that you're missing the fact that there needs to be an ecosystem. There needs to be an exchange so there can be an overflow. I gotta be poured into so I can be poured out of. And so the more I pour into me, the more pours out of me. And that is the two-step aspect that is needed. But this is why over here, when you turn around from your desires and your focus, again, you plant the seed and then you turn around and look at where you're going to go next. And you have two options, and that's the why to the two, or the dual steps. Step one, step two, before you even get to your first actual step. So this is what we call preparation. You're doing things to get ready for things. And the reason why that is so important is because as we're doing, we got to realize that we're being. And so we're already doing two things at once. I'm doing things like cleaning my house, but I'm being mom as I'm cleaning the house. I'm being brother as I'm cleaning the house. I'm being firstborn brother going to school, cleaning the house, versus I'm the last born brother not going to school, building an app. Or I'm the sister, not brother, not older, not youngest. I'm the middle child now, and I'm not cleaning anything. I'm cooking breakfast. So, there's different things that we can do as we're doing things, but we're still being things on top of that. It's twofold. So, I think that's the message for the seaside, which is to realize that you can take actions in your mind to create multitudinal versions of you so you can get back into being more parts of you. The parts of you don't want to see have not been realized that they're parts of you. So you got to look at that part and then find some stability in the fact that you have changed from there, and then that will help you immediately look into how you became that version. Damn, I was 10. I remember when I was 8 and 9. And then because I was 10, I remember when I was 11 and 12. You got to be able to put those boundaries together and repackage that package. And guess what? Everything comes in threes. So the fact that I have a package of 5 says that I've taken something and then I've taken a part of it away. Oh, maybe that's my youth because now I'm not 12, I'm not 10, I'm not 8, none of it. I'm motherfucking 49, right? So guess what? If I'm older, I can still go back. And if I can go back, that can help me break through the misfortunes of, let's say, losing weight. Because for me, I've been losing weight, but then I've been looking like I haven't because it's all about the food intake. It's so easy. It's already seen, but the thing is, you don't know yourself well enough to realize what works for me. And so you try one thing because somebody else told you to try it, instead of talking to a guy like me who says, here's things you can try. It's harder because with me, I make it more real. It's more real because I have the opportunity to become steady in different parts. It's fortunate, but that means I'm seeing where I'm misfortunate. But I'm okay with that because life already carries that. You got to do it and you got to be it. So the two aspect is already been planned and laid out for us. psychology has developed across stages and ranges and layers and all of these things, like I was describing with the air element, but you got to see it with structure. And this is the fortune. These might be your values, these might be your beliefs, these might be whatever you could conceive, but it's a conception. And so because it is coming together, that means it can birth some life. What is the life that is being conceived? Well, how you feel about the things that has been conceived. So I truly love all the things that I like got going on for myself, but I wouldn't show it and talk about it. And so do I truly love it? Why you gotta hide me? Why you gotta keep me a secret? That's the well, how come you only come around doing this? Why does it take 3 weeks for you to make another video? All of that kind of shit, right? That's the energy that pops up automatically because I'm being in the joyous state over here, but because it's a mood, it gets split. And so that takes us into me catering for things that I want to attend to versus not catering to things I don't. And because I don't and I do are two different things, you got to realize it takes 2 steps to reconcile the two. Both parties got to come to the point where I'm going to listen and then I want the change. And then both parties got to say, it's not our change, it's not my change, it's the change we're presented with, which is options. That's this wheel of fortune. And guess what? Even if you come to a conclusion, the how that conclusion operates won't always be the same. That's going back to my reference of the children. It can be one mom, one dad. Guess what? 12 kids, all different. Even when built the same, aka a twin, triplets. Made at the same time, 2 of these triplets look the same, 1 of these triplets do not. 2 of these triplets that look the same, they're girls. The one who don't look the same is a boy. Crazy. They were all conceived at the same time. They were built in the same contextual space. But guess what? For some reason, there's still individual creations happening. These are the layers of the fortune that you're trying to find your wisdom from. These are the past tense versions of you, helping yourself guide yourself. Again, being and doing. All of you is this card. You're the one answering the questions, and you're the one asking the questions, and that is the understanding of the key. Dang it. The key to life is to know that you are the student and the teacher. I really hope this microphone is catching this stuff, man. But, okay. Let's get some final messages for our people. Oh, let's get to this first. So, before we get to the final message, we're going to look at the mood. Okay, so this mood calculator. This here, oh yeah, wake up, baby, wake up. So this mood calculator here is exactly what it is. It's a mood calculator and it's going to give you an output based upon the 4 disc types: your fire, water, air, earth. It's going to, excuse me, it's going to give you that output. It's going to help you because everyone has a different mood, but life doesn't change. You still got to be something. And so these are the things that you can be. You can only be a few things, so these are the things you can be. You can be fiery, you can be airy, you can be watery, or you can be earthy. Those are the things you can be. So, as I be them, let's go ahead and see how you feel about what you've been. So, right now, I'm feeling pretty good about all of this. From this card right here, it's making me understand, damn it. It's making me say and it's making me understand that we are in a mood to where we want to take charge of our lives. And so we are taking charge by understanding. We take charge by knowing when to ask questions and knowing when to give answers. We take charge by being aware. We take charge by being wise and by being humble. We take charge by asking and by telling. We take charge by being in charge of all the things we can control. That's the key. Knowing what I can control. Knowing what I can do. Knowing me. when I'm doing, knowing me when I'm wanting control. Knowing those differences helps us see the versions of us, but an easy way to see that is the mood. So I'm feeling pretty good. I don't think I'll ever be in a mood of 10 by myself, but right now I'm feeling pretty good. So I'll say I got a mood of 8. Right? I got a mood of 8. So then the first question, there's only 4. It says, well, with this mood of 8, I'm feeling pretty good. Do I want to take charge right now? Do I want to do something? I really don't feel like doing nothing. I feel like I'm already doing something. So that's a 2 for me. I'm not really doing too much. Number 2, do I feel like inspiring others? Hell yeah. That's this. So for me right now, do I want to take charge? No. I don't even want to do nothing with this energy here. So because of that, that's great. I know I don't want to do it. I know I got to just stop watching the goddamn pot boil. So good. This is matching up already perfectly. So now I'm going to my steady energy. Steady energy is the wheel of fortune. How do I want to seek harmony? Well, I want to talk right now, and I want to make sure that people can hear me. But then again, I want to make people feel heard. So instead of talking and listening, I'm just going to host an environment. So right now, how do I want to seek harmony? Or do I want to seek harmony? Yes, I want to seek harmony not by making people, by creating an environment so people can be harmonized. So I guess that'll be a 5. And then it says, where do I want to value structure? Conscious. Again, my mind is set on something which is going to structure my world around me based upon the actions that I take in this world. And in this case, what value structures do I have? Well, I mean, I do this so I don't really think, so I can express and help people in a way that is secondarily to me personally and as humble as it possibly can be, because again, it takes a lot of subsiding the ego to truly deliver a message for the sake of delivering messages. I've been doing this for a while, and it's just like, some people listen, some people don't, but it's just like, hey, still out here doing it. Same reason when I be being nice to people, it's just like, even though you're being mad, I'm still trying. And I just want to be angry just like you, but I'm going to take 2 steps and I'm going to try something new. So that's the value structure that I bring. But the idea is this energy is telling us that we need to be valuing the different things we can bring too. So do I value structure right now? No. I want to change that shit up right now. So let's go ahead and check my insights. So it says I'm at a spiral stage 7. If you go to the next app, you can understand what that stage is. Stage 7 is generativity and stagnation of the psychological development stages. So right now, we're in a battle between, do we feel like we're structuring our lives to give back to the world, or do we feel like our minds have structured us to be stuck in a space? Well, seems like we're more so stuck in a space, considering we got this loop-de-loop card right here in the loop-de-loop position. So let's get some traits so we can understand ourselves a little bit better. So it says, well, right now we're feeling, social, expressive, and inspiring. That would probably be the case right now, considering how excited I am to be telling you this, and I'm hoping the microphone is catching this as it should. But the microphone been tripping. One thing, though, I need to work on right now is the overexpression. And I've been talking a lot. So because I can see all the differences and how these colors and these mixtures combine together, that doesn't mean anybody else can. That's like me opening up a computer and then seeing the motherboard and being like, oh, I can understand this. And somebody else being like, man, what? So follow through is what is needed. So again, we need to continue to do this by not focusing on the things that we did, but by the continuations of what we can continue to do. So my I score, I got a 5.0 out of 5, which is high. That means most of my energy is coming through this I. But because it's in the stage of 7, it suggests that I'm positioned to give back healthily. Why? Because I can find stability in that give back. And then I can find flexibility in that get back. And so now I'm learning to value the fact that I can be flexible and versatile. And in that flexibility and in that versatility, it is now allowing me to take action. So let's get a final message. I love this app, man. This is the first app I ever built in my life, and it was crazy because it's not like I'm a coder or anything, but I did enough to like follow my pathway, and I did. And so here it is, man. It's great. If you want more, try the next app. Let's look at this. Oh, I didn't even update this one. Yes, I did. Wake up. Wake up. So as that's waking up, let's get our final message. What's our final message? We'll read stage 7, then we'll get out of here. On our pathway to being the leader and the wise one for our own lives. All right. So following your intuition is the foundation, but look at the foundation of following your intuition. You got a black side and a white side. You got a black white side. You got a white black side. You got two inverse versions of oneself. Variety and flexibility through structure. Again, this is a pillar, that is a pillar. But the variety of pillar comes in color, and then the value of the color comes in oppositions or contrast. So how does that help us understand this? Well, you're going to have conflicting and contrasting versions of yourself seeking help. I need more money to go and party with my friends. I need more money for stability in my shelters. What do I do? Well, we need to have fun in life, but we need to have a place to sleep. What do? We don't have the answers. Well, the key of life is to understand that you are the versatility between the two, which is the following the intuition between who you're choosing to be. So, our final cards, this is exactly the case. My card for the 9 of rods, all of these rods cards, again, we went from here, conscious, now we're taking the action. So here's the queen being presented with all of these people of the kingdom, right? And she's advising all of these people. And this person here is like, hey, dang it. This person is like, hey, I'm the 12-time champion. You know, sometimes I went undefeated. Other times, I didn't go undefeated. There's one time where I didn't even make the championship whatsoever. So what I'm saying is, I'm tired of this, granddad. And so an older version of you would have been like, well, that's too damn bad. Keep digging, you know. But the idea is that's you realizing that, yeah, when this 57-year-old version of you was in this position, looking at 24-year-old you and 14-year-old you, now you are in the same position. Now, instead of being 14, you're the 57-year-old. Here's the 37-year-old, and we're now looking up to the ideal version of us, which would be that 79-year-old version of us. And so when you're talking about how you're tired of doing the same things, repeating these same cycles, instead of just saying that's too damn bad, you're now understanding how you can make a new version of that. Again, it's not you taking a look at this as being the hierophant of I need to be the wise one. Now you can be the nurturing one. Now you can be the inspiring one. Now you can be the passionate one. Why? Because you're realizing that the hierophant energy is a multi-tool in and of itself. So that means instead of just looking at it as I gotta go to the priest, when priest is a synonymous term for any person in a position, you got to start to realize that they're still being a people. So these people who are in this role of priest, they have their own subgroup category than somebody who is not a priest, but who can preach. So now we're starting to look at the actionary aspects, all the different years of me taking the same action over and over, still yielding different results, still realizing that it's me doing and me being. I'm being the boxer and I'm doing the boxing over time. I'm doing a lot of it, but here I'm being the student and I'm being the teacher. But now I'm realized that I've taught myself so many different ways and I've learned from myself in so many different forms. Now it's all about me realizing that whatever I need right now, I need to be able to take that to a new level, a new understanding, a rotational change. And that change comes from me rotating how I see. And I see based upon me sitting in between by taking 2 steps so I can see all I can see. And the only way to do that is to see square. You got to add some light to it. So I'm going to cut the light off on this reading, and I'll be posting the schedule and the website so you guys can have everything you need. And if you want to explore different parts, come explore different parts. Remember, this is the freest parts of all we can do. But I hope that you guys be great. Here is the Coach app. This is like a digital diary for you. So don't just stop writing shit down. Document your mood and the actions that you've taken. So every time you redo this, you start to find new versions of you because it's going to document that shit for you. Again, it's your diary, but it's a diary upon your mood and then the actions recommended you take and then the actions that you actually took. Damn it. So because it's doing 2 things, it allows you to see more. So Stage 7, generativity. I feel inspired to offer something of value, but you're stuck